Good morning, HOPS fans. I've had a number of inquiries about the training log tool, which I sneaked into HOPS and hoped nobody would notice, but you all did notice it, so I thought it was worth a little video just to show you how it worked, because a number of people have written in to ask. So here's a roster where you can see a couple of days ago I had a turn that had a trainee. You can see I've got another turn in a couple of days where I've also got a trainee, and then I think I had one last month. There it is on the 8th of October. I had another turn with a trainee, so I've done quite a lot of training. Over here in the left-hand menu in the competence section, there's a new option entitled Trainee Feedback. And here is a list of the turns that I have had in the past that have had trainees with them. So that's why only 2 out of the 3 are showing. You can't give feedback for a turn that you haven't had yet. So we'll look at this one first. On the 2nd of November in Appletree East, the details of the turn are replicated up here on the top right hand side. There are 4 text boxes for the person who had the trainee to record their remarks of how the trainee performed. The first one is activities undertaken during the training turn. Then there's areas in which the trainee did well, areas in which the trainee needs further practice or training or development, and other general remarks. Underneath that, there's some scoring bits. There's 6 questions that require scores, and they're all scored on 1 to 5, where a candidate on their very first day can expect to get a 1 because they don't yet know anything at all, and on the final day before they pass out they can expect to get a 5 because 5 means they're ready to be assessed. I've tried to not make it such that the person who has the trainee with them is conducting an assessment or feels like they're conducting an assessment, even though that might really be what they're actually doing, but just giving their view and informing the decision of the person who will ultimately decide when the candidate is ready for assessment and then do the assessment. You don't have to answer all the questions, you can just answer the ones that you like, but you click on the number. You can obviously change your mind if you make a mistake, and it will highlight the selections that you've made. When you're ready, you press Submit Feedback, and then it has disappeared out of the list of turns for which you can give feedback. This turn in Appletree West, I know this is a signal box turn, but I've actually allocated the role as a footplate related role, and so there are some footplate specific details before the rest of the form, which is the same as the one we just looked at. And it's my intention that I'll make guard specific details, signalman specific details, but I've only done footplate at the moment. And it's set on a turn by turn basis. So the footplate specific ones has additional fields like number of miles on the footplate and whether there was any double heading, and the opportunity to write in remarks and additional moves and things that would inform the decision making of specifically footplate related competence decisions. All of the fields that appear in the feedback part of the system and the definition of these 1 to 5s, I would say is the first draft. So there's lots of feedback coming back about what should be in 1 to 5. I hope that we will form up a little team, or we will identify a little team that will take the lead in deciding what the best practice is going to be, having consulted with everybody on what the scores are going to mean. But it will certainly be 5 equal increment steps from the candidate's very first day to the day before they get passed out. So I'll submit that feedback. I've got no more turns for which to give feedback. If I was now in the mind of a manager to go and have a look at some of the feedback that has been given, I think it was Appletree West that we gave Alan Johnson feedback for. Here in the role appointment detail, there's a training log tab, and here is the summary table of the feedback that this candidate has had in this role. And if I go view detail, I'll be able to see the more detail, what's been written in text and all the scores that were given. And by looking vertically down the columns, you'll be able to see the progression of numbers that hopefully on the candidate's first day, they'll have mainly 1s, and then they'll start getting mainly 2s, all the way up to when they start getting mainly 5s. The candidate themselves can always see their own feedback. If they go to My Competence and they look at one of their roles, they always have the training log tab, so they don't need permission to see what other people have written about them. They can always see. Managers do need permissions. Let's go and have a quick find of permissions. Permissions list, I think it's 504 and 505. Here it is, 505 to provide feedback for candidates. So that's the permission that anybody who is going to be giving feedback requires to have, and you may decide just to put that in your all live users group so that anybody that ever has a trainee can provide feedback. But if you want to limit it to specific departments or specific people, that's the way to do it. And then 506 to view the training logs, but remember the candidate can always view their own. They don't need 506, that's just for other people, other managers to see the training logs. So I hope that's useful. And as I say, it's very much a first draft at the moment, so I'm expecting lots of feedback, especially on what the 1 to 5 scores should mean, which we'll be very glad to receive. Please let me know. Thank you very much. Goodbye.